let's just talk about what's going to happen north of the border in Toronto. The Maple Leafs did not get to the Stanley Cup Finals again. No problem. It's only been since 1967. My God. What are they going to do with Mitch Marner? 221 career goals, despite having high payroll, a lot of snipers, just have not been able to win the Stanley Cup. Marner's a walk free agent. He's a Toronto kid. Hot rumor. I don't know if this is possible, but both the Blackhawks and the Anaheim Ducks have a lot of cap space. And what are they missing? A veteran sniper. Could you imagine Mitch Marner coming to the Ducks with all the kids that they've drafted, the Leo Carlsons and the Mason McTavishes? Could you imagine that, or him going to Chicago, and the Blackhawks have stockpiled number one picks a couple of years in a row, Connor Bedard, etc. That's a hot rumor around the NHL that Marner, Maple Leafs might let him walk. God, if he came to the Ducks, that'd put them right back on the hockey map, because they're right. I think they're right on the brink of stepping over that threshold to becoming a really good team with all the young kids that have stockpiled. And now you get a guy that scored 221 goals in a young career. That's pretty doggone impressive. Vancouver, unbelievable disappointment, disarray. Rick Tocchet left as head coach, was shocked a lot of people. They traded JT Miller, one of their captains, because of an in-house feud with one of the Swedish players. Thatcher Demko, San Diego native, star goaltender, might ask out, might want to be traded, might not want to be part of a rebuild in Vancouver. So keep an eye on that storyline. In Dallas, I don't know how this relationship goes forward. We're talking about what Peter DeBoer did in the end of the playoffs against Dallas and their star goaltender, Jake Ettinger. They benched him after he allowed 2 goals in the Game 7 against Edmonton. A lot of bitterness in Dallas that Jake should not have been treated that way. He had won 6 playoff series in a row for Dallas over a couple of years span. But at the end of the day, Peter DeBoer said this was a big picture. This guy had not played well against Edmonton at all over 2 years. And he said, we just couldn't sit there and let all these goals get in with the hope we could come back. And obviously, they did not come back. And the last note, the IOC did it. They informed Russia, you're not allowed to bring your hockey team to the Winter Olympics. That means in 2026, there will be no Alexander Ovechkin or any of the other great Russian players in the Winter Olympics, because Russia, by virtue of the war in Ukraine, has been banned again from the Winter Olympics. So, John, that's the latest from the NHL.
Okay, so help me out here with I was going to say the Blue Jays, the Maple Leafs. Okay, so we got Marner. You're talking about him, but I know that there's that other guy, Austin Matthews, is really good.
Yeah, he's under a big multi-year contract. They've got to make decisions on Marner and John Tavares. They're both making enormous amounts of money. They're both walk-free agents. Tavares is a much older player, former New York Islanders star, but they've had what they call the core 4. Mm-hmm. Austin Matthews, William Nylander, making mega money. Matthews, a former 60-goal scorer. Nylander scores 45. Marner and Tavares. They've never won. They've never gotten to Stanley Cup Finals. So the question is, you going to keep the core 4 together again? Why would you do that? So, and Marner turned down a contract extension, but they offered him $8 million. Well, Marner wants state-of-the-art money. It's $11 or $12 million. He scored 221 goals in 6 years. So at the end of the day, does Toronto do this? Keep the core 4 together when the core 4 has never won? Or do they change the chemistry of the team and go get different type players to put next to Matthews, Nylander, and whoever else survives?
But they've lost, was it 7 Game 7s in a row?
Exactly.
So doesn't that is more of a reflection on the coach and, the way he's getting his team prepared?
Or is it a reflection on Brendan Shanahan, the president, who made all the hockey decisions? And by the way, he was let go last week.
Mm-hmm.
While you and I were on the disabled list, he got let go. So they're changing. The new CEO of the Maple Leafs have said, we will change the culture and there will be changes on this roster. And I think he's making reference to either Marner or Tavares or maybe both.
So Marner, how old is he?
I want to say he's 28.
Okay, so he's still in his prime.
His peak.
Yeah, so I was just thinking you'd hate to have a guy, at the tail end of his career go to the Ducks.
No, but would the Ducks spend $12 million a year? No, the Ducks have a ton of cap space because they got young players who are on their first contracts, not making a hell of a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know, the one that's making the most money right now is John Gibson, the veteran goaltender, making $6.5 million, twilight of his career. They could trade him somewhere. They haven't traded him yet. Anything is possible. But they could afford Marner. I mean, that would be a monster investment. But you get that kind of sniper, that goal scorer, never ever gets hurt, plays all the games. You put him with all the Leo Carlsons and all the young kids the Ducks have stockpiled. Wow, big difference.
Well, let's just say Marner went to the Ducks, which, by the way, I think, if they want to make an investment in Gibson, they would probably want to make an investment in Marner.
Well, Gibson are on a contract at the state of Gibson's star status. And Gibson got old, team fell apart. Gibson's had multiple injuries. So they paid Gibson the going rate when Gibson was top echelon goaltender.
So the Ducks with Marner, would they be better than the LA Kings?
They'd be younger than the LA Kings, but they'd be pretty close. I mean, the Kings are really good, but the Kings have got a lot of age, and Kings are really top heavy with age and big money contracts, where the Ducks are really young with a lot of cap space to use.
Interesting.
I heard about this from Canadian guys over the weekend. I said, holy cow, if I connect the dots, that makes sense. Because when you're fixing a franchise, and the Ducks have been down forever, when you're fixing a franchise, you get all the pieces put in, and they almost made the playoffs last year with kids. You add the right veteran, marquee free agent, put you over the top. And then you get in the playoffs, and then you see how far along you've come.
Right on.
So that's where we are. All things hockey. Hockey hotline is open.